I got big news from across the pond regarding crypto. That's right, ladies and gents, we're going global. We're also going to talk about Ripple not going IPO. I told you, and even Monica Long confirmed it. Yet there's some knob gobblers out there that keep pushing the IPO thing. No, they want control. They want to stay private. What's going on with the government shutdown? Well, we got problems because now even the Republicans can't get on the same page. It's all got to do with the, well, you'll see what happens soon enough. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse said Swift started a monster. That monster is Ripple, and they're going after Swift. We'll talk that, price action, and
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
¿Qué onda, Chapines and Chapinas? Yeah, I'm getting it right. You know the deal. We got to talk about crypto this morning, or afternoon, or evening, or wherever the hell you're located in the world. We got some green up on the screen, some prices coming back, some a little soft still. We're also going to talk some across the pond action in altcoin season. No, it's Bitcoin season officially, 23 out of 100. I know, it sucks. But before we get into that, you are the viewer, you matter most, so I'm sharing your comments. By the way, I pick these comments at random times during the day. Coach Hawk says, once regulations happen, do you think that Ripple will integrate XRP more? Thought I heard something today that U.S. banks can't use XRP till it has clarity. Sounds like you believe Ripple won't ever use XRP. Look, Ripple will use what makes them the most money, right? Think about it. Any business does that, right? They will sell the hell out of products that make them the most money. And stablecoins make people the most money, all right? Now, do I believe Ripple will use XRP more once we get regs? Hell yeah. Why? Well, there's a story coming up in today's video that's going to talk exactly about that. Here's the thing, though. I am upset that at every freaking turn, though, we hear about Ripple's got a big announcement, blah, 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 blah. Settlement with RLUSD. Ripple's doing this, blah, 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 blah. They chose RLUSD to... That's what frustrates me. Is when are they going to start using XRP for stuff? Oh, but bro, they use XRP. No, it's not helping the price, right? Don't give me this liquidity crap. Don't tell me this, oh, but it helps with cross-border. No, that's not helping anything. Look at the price. XRP moves on macros, not on what Ripple does with it. I do think they're going to use it more once we get regs. I think more people are going to be using cryptos in general once we get regs. Has to do with the government shutdown update. That's coming up too. G-Man211 says, hi Klaus, morning time here, loving the content and host for sure. Thank you for keeping it 100% real. We waited so long for the ETFs. I believe in XRP as much as I believed in my beloved Blue Jays. They both seem to end the same every time. Now the ETFs, that's the other thing. Have the ETFs really done anything for Sol? No, because macros are so much bigger. Now ETFs are good, right? I think it's better to have them than not have them. But the reality is the shit news with the government shutdown, the problem with inflation, the problem with the job market, the problem with rates being so high are bigger factors than the ETFs. The other thing we all got to pay attention to is this AI bubble. If AI companies or companies that are investing in AI, maybe they have other things that they're doing, but they're investing in AI. If they don't start making money on the AI investment, we're going to be in deep trouble. Because think about it. A bunch of companies invested in .com stuff, right? The internet. And there were companies that made money. Not a single company right now is making money on AI. It is not profitable. Love the comments, by the way. JWJH says, do you ride on Zwift, Klaus? I used to when I was preparing for duathlons. I'm thinking about doing another duathlon. It's just my health. I'm starting to train more. It's a lot of running and it's a lot of lifting right now. I'm starting to feel a little bit of fatigue sooner than I thought. So I'm still trying to figure out if I'm healthy enough to push it. And I don't know, I might do another duathlon. Bitcoin, 102,766. ETH is 33.54. XRP at 228. We pulled back from the highs. I'm going to tell you why. BNB at 941, while Doge is at 16 cents. hbar back down to 16 as well. And ADA 53. What's going on? Why are certain things in the red? Boom, here's why. GOP divisions emerge over the ending date for the funding bill to end the shutdown. So here's the big problem. Is the bill that's going on right now has a stopgap measure in there for November 21st. So if tomorrow, let's pretend in crazy world, okay? Tomorrow they vote and all of a sudden they're like, yep, we're going to pass this. We would only have funding till November 21st. Yeah, that's like 2 weeks away. So then we'd have to go through this shit all over again. So the GOP, right, the Republicans now are freaking out because they're like, okay, well, the November 21st one isn't good. Maybe we can move the date to December 19th. The question, specifically, is whether the measure, known as a continuing resolution, should last until before Christmas, as Senate Appropriations Committee Chair Susan Collins is clamoring for, or into January. Right, why would you want to have a shutdown a week before fucking Christmas? These freaking politicians are absolute scumbags. Vote them all out. I don't care if they're Republican. I don't care if they're Democratic. If they're an incumbent, they're a fucking loser, and we're getting shit done in this country. Vote them out. The discussion is ongoing. There's a big argument to be made for January, and there's a big argument to be made for December 19th. Basically, everyone is saying, look, the November 21st one isn't going to work because we'll be back at this shit in 2 weeks. At the heart of the dispute is the unwillingness of conservatives to be jammed with a massive Christmas omnibus spending bill. Collins, on the other hand, is attempting to avoid a worst-case scenario for appropriations. A full-year continuing resolution, nice, would continue on at Biden-era spending levels and make her committee less relevant in the process. So there's even individuals within the party that are like, well, yeah, but if we do a full-year continuing resolution, I'm going to lose power. We're going to spend a shit ton more than we need to. And it's like they can't even now agree on the date. So now the big problem was we couldn't get the Democrats to come over to get this continuing resolution to go. Now, even the Republicans that wanted this short-term continuing resolution, they're like, oh, we don't even know what date we want to pick on this. So if you wonder why we pulled back from some of the highs, yeah, you see it right here. You also see it right here. Well, the problem is because now even the Republicans can't agree on the date. Now let's jump across the pond, yes? Central Bank of Ireland fines Coinbase Europe 21.5 million euros. Come on, catch me if you can. I'm going to say euros, not euros. So Coinbase is a shit company, whether in the United States or in Europe, and apparently they do naughty things. Maybe they should have a disclaimer at the beginning of their website. The Central Bank of Ireland has fined Coinbase nearly 21.5 million euros for breaching its obligations to monitor money laundering and terrorist financing. Coinbase Europe is a subsidiary of Coinbase in the United States. The European subsidiary is one of the largest, most active virtual asset service providers. If it suspects a transaction is facilitating money laundering or terrorist financing, the exchange is required to file reports. Well, guess what? They didn't. They failed to monitor over 30 million transactions, or roughly 31% of all the transactions that occurred over a one-year time period, resulting in more than 176 billion euros not being monitored. Yeah. So Coinbase doing what they can for profit. Coinbase is like this. We don't give a shit if you're criminals or not. We just want your money. Speaking of money, volume down 43% to 158 billion. So exchanges are still making money because the volume is still relatively high. Coinbase, shitty AF. Oh, let's stick with across the pond news. I'm telling you, we going global, girlfriend. So for all my friends on the other side of the water, this is for you. The UK Bank of England plans stablecoin regs with temporary holding limits. Okay, so why is the Bank of England getting into this? Because the United States made regs. And that's why I brought up your comments in the beginning. Because Coach Hawk says, once regulations happen, do you think that Ripple will integrate XRP more? Yes, I do. Because we've seen, as soon as we've gotten regs, companies out there have started using stable coins more and more and more. We just need to shut down to end so we can start talking about regs again. Here's the thing, though. There's always going to be people late to the party, and well, you know, the Bank of England's a little late. The proposed stablecoin regulations include temporary holding limits of £20,000 for individuals and £10 million for businesses, as outlined in reports in Bloomberg. These measures safeguard against potential threats to commercial banks and mortgage availability, which form the backbone of UK lending. Again, the UK banks, just like the US banks, are afraid that crypto is going to take power away from the traditional finance system. The rules will target widely used stablecoins, while smaller ones stay under lighter FCA oversight. Deputy Governor Sarah Breton said the new stablecoin rules will be operational just as quickly as the U.S. Whoa, girlfriend. The U.S. isn't quick at shit. Come on now. Proposed rules will be unveiled on Monday, November 10th, with a consultation to follow. Pretty cool, isn't it? So the UK is getting onto it. So again, why is the U.S. reg thing big? Well, number one, it would provide clarity to this big blob of assets right here, the altcoins. And number two, as soon as the US does something, a whole shitload of countries follow suit. And the UK is like, yo, The U.S. did stuff with stablecoins. Maybe we should too. Now, a fuddy-duddy traditional finance player on this side of the pond, Charles Schwab, plans Bitcoin and Ethereum trading by 2026. Okay, I told you, some people are late to the party. And Charles Schwab is the one that does E-Trade now too. So my assumption is this is probably going to go on the E-Trade platform. U.S. regulators, including the OCC, FDIC, and Snoop Dogg G in the LBC, have confirmed the last two are just things I made up. Have confirmed financial institutions can offer crypto services with proper risk management. Charles Schwab's crypto trading will debut in the first half of 2026, focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, some people are late to the party. Firms have been offering BTC and ETH trading now for a while because they know BTC and ETH have gotten the golden pass as a commodity. But here's Charles Schwab years and years later going, okay, we're going to offer some BTC and ETH trading in the first half of 2026. No rush there. CEO Rick Wurster announced this at the firm's annual event for registered investment advisors, emphasizing client demand for digital assets. Yeah, but you're late to the party, homie, so you're missing out on a big slice of the pie. Either way, I'm bringing this up because this is more proof that once you get regs, more people will do it. And remember, some people will get into it before regs, people like you and I. Some people will get into it as soon as they say, hey, regs are going to happen. Some people get into it the day they vote on regs. And some people, like Charles Schwab, will get into it way the fuck later because they're just late to the party. Ripple's president, Monica Long, 7 out of 10, reaffirms no immediate plans for an IPO industry rush. And I keep telling you that. Ripple does not want to IPO. They want to control the company themselves, so they're going to keep it with private funding rounds. Now, granted, there's tards out there like Smoke Dog and say, oh, Ripple, but no, those are fake articles being circulated. You know where people like doctor the words in there? Yeah. Ripple is taking a different path from other crypto firms eager to go public, according to Bloomberg. President Monica Long, again, 7 out of 10, confirmed that the company has no immediate plans or timeline for an initial public offering. Speaking at Ripple's Swell conference in Nuevo York, Long explained that the firm is in a strong financial position and can independently fund its growth. Yes, Ripple has XRP, so they can keep using XRP to fund its growth. And Ripple has RLUSD, which makes a lot of money. Her remarks highlighted Ripple's focus on expanding its services and acquisitions rather than pursuing an IPO. And again, companies raise money with IPOs if they want to do massive expansions and don't have the capital. Companies also go IPO to raise money because they don't have the money. Just like not even to expand, just to like operate, right? Going private to public. Ripple has money. They just recently got $500 million in funding led by a whole bunch of people here. It's all linked in the description below if you want to read it. This values Ripple at $40 billion. So Ripple, does not want to go public where the shareholders could tell them more so what to do. Brad Garlinghouse says Swift created a monster by pushing us out. This is pretty interesting. According to Garlinghouse, Ripple was once denied a space at the prestigious CEO's conference in Toronto. Canadians, eh? Blue Jays fans, eh? An event hosted by Swift that brings together the world's largest banks and financial institutions. Instead of stepping back, Ripple organized its own event nearby, transforming a warehouse into a rave. No, transporting a warehouse into a stage that featured notable figures, including U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Ben Bernanke. Yeah, that's a pretty cool dude to have at a panel. Garlinghouse revealed that Swift's refusal became the very spark that pushed Ripple to establish its own independent identity. We couldn't get a booth at CEBO, so we created our own event down the street. Swift created a monster by pushing us out. Now, that being said, there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, Swift is going to use XRP. That's more fucking knob gobblers and liars out there on YouTube and X. And if you wonder why their channels get taken down, it's because they're spreading lies, not the truth. So even Brad Garlinghouse is like, look, we're not going to be part of Swift. We're going to compete against them. So buckle up, Swift. We're coming after you. Now, speaking of action, or lack thereof, we did touch high 230s. You should touch the subscribe button for the juicy news. And now we got pushed back down. Why did we get pushed back down? Because we're having problems with the GOP. We can't even agree if they want to do a full year continuing resolution, a 1 month resolution, or yeah, what a fucking mess. So because of that, XRP starts pulling back. The alts start pulling back. Market cap starts pulling back. And in fact, check it out. Another day of outflows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I can count 6 days of outflows. But look at the trend. Huge chunks of outflows, very few inflows over the last 30 days. Zoom out, and what do you notice? The year has been mostly inflows, but as of late, it's not been good at all. XRP buckles under the pressure as it gets to the high 230s and now pushes back down to 227. Volume's at 5.7 billion, so there's a lot of action with XRP, but there's also a lot of apprehension. See, XRP and the alts can't roar until we figure out what these damn senators are going to do. And the problem we got is we're going to stay fairly range bound here and more to the negative side if the government keeps not being able to work together. So upside right now for XRP, government shutdown ends and both sides come together, right? Then maybe we got enough time to get regs going. Downside is if all of a sudden more news comes out that, hey, we're not going to come up with a resolution. Hey, we're not going to end this shutdown. Look for more downward pressure for XRP and the alts. What, Klaus? You mean the government is letting us down again? Yes, they are. What's new, girlfriend? Oh, you mean Ripple is not going to be working with Swift? No, I've been telling you that for a while, but the Hopium punchers keep pushing shit, even though Brad is like, we ain't any part of this. Oh, you mean Swift isn't going to use XRP? No, they're not. Separate things. Just throwing it out there. But man, you go all over Twitter and that's all you see, this stupid lying crap. And you know what? It hurts the community. Because there's people out there that read it and they're like, oh, bro, this is going to be so big. And then when it doesn't happen, what do? They sell. They're like, oh, well, this sucks. I was lied to. And that makes XRP and the Ripple community, the XRP army, look bad. That's why the Hopium pushers aren't good for this space. Unless you want to just like laugh at him and poke on him and say, yeah, you're retarded. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Now, in terms of what's happening across the pond, Coinbase does shit shady in the United States. Coinbase does shit shady in Europe. Nothing new. The Bank of England is like, yo, we need to get on the stablecoin train because the U.S. is. And that's the power of the U.S. When the U.S. sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. When the U.S. takes Viagra, the rest of the world wants a ride. See what I did there? So now we're just waiting to see if even the GOP can agree on a date for continuing resolution. Right now, the bill that they're working on right now ends at November 21st. Could you imagine these fucktards voting on this right now, the 6th of November? Sorry, I'm just checking out Garmin real quick. The 6th of November, and then having to come back November 21st because the government shutdown starts all over again? Are you fucking serious? So now they're like, well, wait a minute. Do we continue to December 21st and screw people over for Christmas? That would be messed up. Do we do a whole year of funding, which sucks because then we'll be spending more money because we're using Biden-era tax rules and stuff like that? So these people can't even agree, and that's the freaking Republicans. And we're still waiting to see if we can get some Democrats to come on board with that temporary bill. Not looking too good. Now, I will say, though, overall in the crypto space, we do have a lot of positives. They're just put on hold until what? Until the government shutdown thing can get fixed. The ETFs, yeah, they've got the provisions in there that say, yo, you don't approve or deny our ETFs in 20 days? Well, guess what? They automatically get approved. So look for XRP ETFs to go on the 13th of November, a week from today, a week from Thursday, today's Thursday. And ladies, rub up on the titties. Yeah, you heard me. I said rub up on the titties. Name the song. I guess it just comes down to one of these two groups going to work together. And when they do we have enough time to get regs done before these a-holes shut down again? I don't know. That's why I bring you the news. I don't bring you the stupid Hopium predictions or any crap like that. I bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. If you like it, well, hell, you're still watching now, so hopefully you like it. Or you left it on in the background and you're giving me view time, which is pretty fucking cool, too. Either way, you know the deal. Lemon peel, choo-choo what? Choo-choo bitches.